Hey guys, how's it going? Krapan here. So today Blizzard released two more cards out of the big Goblins versus Gnomes expansion that's coming out in Hearthstone, roughly about a month or so. And a few interesting things came to my mind with these specific cards, and I wanted to mention it. But first, I want to go over the cool cards released. So the first one is Goblin Auto Barber. It's a 3/2 for 2. It's a rogue-only card, and it gives your weapon +1 attack. And, looking at this card, I was pretty much surprised at how powerful it really is, because coming from an arena perspective at the very least, Deadly Poison, in my opinion, is the best rogue card that you can get in Arena. And this is basically, it's half of the effect of Deadly Poison, but it's also Bloodfed Raptor. It's like nothing. And in Arena, because you got pandas are pretty good. You can stack these effects. You can get some pretty cool stuff. And it just seems like, a very, very powerful card that, in a way, changes it up completely. And I'll get to that again in a second. The other card is the Goblin Sapper. It's a 3 for a 2/4. And if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, it gets 4 attack. So it's a 6/4 for 3 mana. And that's pretty ridiculous value, but because it doesn't usually attack the turn it comes into play, what's usually going to happen is your opponent is going to drop their hand and trade into it for a discount. So if he has like a 4/3 creature, just drop a few cards, just nail it down. And in some cases this isn't possible, but in most, I feel this card isn't particularly good, at least not as good as some people make it seem, but it does have some really cool combo cards. For instance, a lot of people in Constructed are running like the Math Warrior with the Warsong Commanders, and this is a great card for Warsong Commander, because if your opponent has 6 or more in hand, you just slap him for 6 for 3 mana, and you got the body on the board. 4 health puts it in a very nice position against like Shaman, but most Shamans don't run too many combo cards in hand, so it's kind of difficult to place it in the existing meta game in that high of a spot. But what's relevant is that it's 3 mana for a 2/4, and thinking back originally when I was really looking into how valuable each of the cards were in Arena, specifically before Nax, you notice things like Unbound Elemental. It's a 2/4, it's class specific, and even if you don't get any Overload card, it's still a really good creature, because 2/4 kills a 2-drop for free, and then it stays alive, and wow, that's so amazing. And kind of what I really want to talk about today is with card games, they kind of go in phases. You have to understand that, the card pool has to expand, and I'm very thankful that it is, especially to this degree, hopefully pretty soon. But as it does so, it makes some cards, some of the less desirable cards, even less desirable. For instance, like, Hunters, for instance, ran Rivercroc, and actually, maybe about half a year ago, Priests actually ran Rivercroc, because, Priests were pretty strong at the time, and it was a 2/3 body if you didn't have much in the way of money to spend on the game, you'd run Rivercroc. And some people even ran like, Darkscale Healer to combo and get cards with Northshire, that kind of stuff. So a little bit old school stuff. But my point is, these kinds of cards that are being introduced are just so much better that it seems like a lot of the cards are being phased out. And this type of phasing out is something that I think is pretty important to understand. So I've seen it happen in games. I've seen it happen, I didn't play too much, but I played a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! And in Yu-Gi-Oh! This is basically a disaster. So every time there'd be a new set, the last set would pretty much be gone. Like, this is at the beginning when the cards are first released. So I don't know, maybe these days it's a little bit different. And in Magic the Gathering, it was kind of the same principle, but it was a bit more gradual. So, over the years, you'd see cards in previous expansion blocks, pretty much all of them except, a very select few, be it just giant piece of crap. And, this might be something that we might experience in Hearthstone, but I think the way that Blizzard is doing it is okay. I think because they're having a separate pack for these guys, at least for the players that are still playing the game, because they're going to use the same kind of dust, people are essentially going to buy only the new packs, In doing so, they get the more powerful cards, and out of the previous set, which is pretty much the core set plus Nax at this point, you'll be able to craft the few cards that you need with the dust that you have overflowing from the cards that you got from the packs of Goblins and Gnomes. And I think that works pretty well. This is something that I was a bit worried that would not work for Blizzard very well, because it's kind of a difficult thing to balance. On one end, you want things to be new, you want things to be exciting, you want them to be a little bit more powerful. I think out of the cards released, maybe they're a little bit too powerful, but we've only seen just very, very few. So there are going to be powerful cards. There's probably a lot of lame cards that we're going to see fairly soon to counterbalance that. But still, you want to see good enough cards for it to be new, exciting, fresh. You want to get it, but still, you don't want the old stuff to be completely phased out. And I think the balance is pretty good so far from what I've seen, and I'm not too worried that they're going to screw it up in Hearthstone, but still, at the same time, some of these cards, like the card announced, the Goblin Auto Barber, for a rogue, this card in Arena is crazy. I mean, in Arena, you play cards like Assassin's Blade, believe it or not. And then, Goblin Auto Barber, your weapon from, a 3/4, suddenly is a 4/4 weapon. So, you get some pretty crazy value out of stuff. And when value is concerned, when Arena's concerned, well, you're going to see a lot less River Crocs, that's for sure. But I'm still looking forward to it. I think all the cool stuff that they're coming up, they're releasing, that we're going to see pretty soon is, really fun, really exciting, and I can't wait to play. So, hope you guys feel the same. I'll see you guys tomorrow.